Hi, Liz.
Hi, Emily.
This is Liz Abunaw. If you have not heard of her, you should. Um, she is the founder and manager and the everything of a company that I have been purchasing some stuff from for a while called 40 Acres Fresh Market. And it's a company here based in Chicago. And I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about that from Liz's mouth so that you guys would know of a really great way to invest in Chicago directly, because I think part of our healing process in general for bringing up people that are underserved and forgotten and neglected is to invest right here at home in your own corner of the country. So Liz, tell me a little bit about what 40 Acres is.
So 40 Acres is a grocery startup. We were founded in technically 2017 because that's when I got my tax ID, but really our first go-to-market launch was on January 20th, 2018, did our first pop-up produce market in the Austin neighborhood of Chicago. Austin is on the west side of Chicago, and it is a predominantly Black with a growing Latino population. It used to be actually back in like the 40s and 50s, it was a predominantly white area. But then, as more Black families moved in, white flight, and now it is still it's an amazing neighborhood, great parks and great housing stock and well resourced by transportation, but it's been neglected by pretty much businesses, the city, and there are persistent issues around like affordable housing, access to healthy food, access to jobs. It's an area that's really been divested from for going on generations. And you see that. You see it. It's a stark difference between Austin and the neighboring suburb of Oak Park. Or if you're coming in from the east and you see the now heavily gentrified areas of like Westtown, Wicker Park, Humboldt Park, it's very obvious which areas people have decided deserve somebody who whatever powers that be, kind of like make these decisions that these neighborhoods deserve thriving small businesses and really great infrastructure, and for people to have like basic goods and services right at their fingertips. And then which neighborhoods people are like, yeah, y'all don't really need that.
And that brings me to food deserts, which is something that I think many people may not have heard of before. It's something that I was lucky enough not to grow up in a food desert, but I have been aware of them for a very long time. And let's talk about what a food desert is for people who don't understand that specifically, and also what the implications are for a food desert.
Yeah, so quote unquote food desert, and I will put quote unquote because it is a term that I'm not a fan of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's okay because like that's the common terminology. And basically what it means is it's an area that does not have access to healthy foods. And it is not that there's no food in the neighborhood. It is that all of the options tend to be heavily processed, fast food, high in sugar, high in fat. All the foods that your doctor tells you to eat sparingly to not at all. That's the only option in the neighborhood. There might be one grocery store, at the quality of which is usually basura. And residents often feel like, why can't we get quality, like wholesome food where we live? Why do I always have to travel outside of my neighborhood?
And that's something that if you follow the path of a fresh produce truck, typically the freshest produce is going to go to the highest bidder. The highest bidders are like your Whole Foods in like the bougiest part of Chicago. Your highest bidders are going to be some of the best restaurants in town, the 5-star restaurants in town. They want like access to like the perfect in-season strawberries for their strawberry compote and all that stuff. And then exponentially, that circle gets wider and wider and wider and wider as people go into areas that are less invested in. And so, like, as you said, whenever people, it's almost like as if the neighborhoods you're describing and the neighborhoods that you're specifically trying to serve are the ones who are like the last stop on the trip for the produce truck. So even if they do get produce, and I've shopped at some of these the stores in underserved areas before, the produce that you have access to is, even as you said, lower quality than anything else. And if you know anything about produce, even down to how green something is picked and how far it travels, you're actually getting your apple in an underserved area is literally less nutritious than in a nicer area. And that's if you get an apple. And as you said, a lot of these places, I think that's part of why the more heavily processed foods end up in these stores, because it's the kind of thing that has a long shelf life, can travel a long time. And unfortunately, these are the kinds of things, as we all know, that contribute to diabetes in adults and children, cancer.
Hypertension, like stroke, obesity, you name it. And especially what we found with COVID was that those conditions tend to be the worst underlying conditions that a person can have if they get COVID.
Right.
So COVID, like healthy adult, no underlying conditions, it's an annoying illness. Like it could be like it could feel like a really horrible flu for a week or two and you recover. But when you're diabetic, it can screw with everything from your lungs to your blood or if you're asthmatic, because it's also really dangerous for people with breathing problems. And these same neighborhoods have higher rates of asthma, higher rates of like environmental poisoning and lead in the homes. And so you basically compound populations that have already been like disenfranchised and divested from generations with problem after problem after problem. It's like, oh wait, your soil will kill you. Oh wait, the paint in your house will kill you. Oh wait, the food in your neighborhood will kill you. And it's just like, that's why you see these large life expectancy gaps between a neighborhood like Austin or West Garfield versus, a Streeterville or
Right.
a River North.
And that's unfortunately, if you've been reading the news, hopefully my friends have all been reading the news and keeping up on this. We know, as you said, that the life expectancy, that there is a giant gap from from town to town and areas of Chicago. But
yeah.
Specifically right now with COVID, the Black community is suffering more from this proportionally than anybody else in our city, and I think in the country as well right now.
Yeah.
So it is so many of these underlying issues, but then it's also, as you said, the fact that people don't have a sturdy foundation of health for when they are attacked by something that could be a threat to anybody. So not only is the healthcare system not able to help them as much, and they don't usually have access to as good of healthcare, which is atrocious, but on top of that, their level of health leading up to this is almost impossible to be at the same level as everyone else's. If you think about someone who, for example, doesn't have a car and uses public transportation, which is totally fine to do, if you live in a place where you don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, within a 45-minute train ride from where you are, and you've got a cart, all that stuff around, sometimes people don't have the time to do that.
And people don't even want to do 45 minutes. Like, honestly, when I lived in the South Loop neighborhood, which is downtown, I lived around the corner from a Trader Joe's, a block away from a Jewel Osco, 2 blocks from a Target with tons of grocery, and 3 blocks from Walmart. That's not 45 minutes. That's like I can walk in less than 5 minutes to a grocery store. I don't have to bring a grocery cart with me. I can carry enough food to feed myself for a week in my 2 hands from the store back to my apartment. It was easy. It was convenient. The less convenient and easy you make something for people who, let's be honest, are also working full-time jobs, sometimes working 2 jobs, raising kids. Like, we all want convenience, but it seems like the convenience that we get kills us versus, like, I'm not saying that the Loop and South Loop don't have, their ice cream parlors and like the place where you can get like a really good deep fried chicken sandwich and a huge ass burger or something like that. But you also got a freshie there. You
Yeah.
have like even a Chipotle where you can make yourself a pretty healthy meal at these places that actually still tastes good. I'm
Right.
sorry, it's really hard to find something at McDonald's that's healthy and doesn't and is actually satisfying and tastes good. And on top of that, these foods are like shown to the foods that are like highest in salt, highest in sugar, highest in fat are also shown to be very addictive. Like there's
Right.
an addictive property to
Yeah.
sugar that
Yeah.
like the
And
body starts to crave it. And
yeah,
so,
that's the case with fake sugars as well, but also with MSG, which is something that is in basically every fast food that you can imagine.
mhm,
MSG, if you do research into it, is a neurotoxin, and it actually trains your brain into thinking that you're getting a better food than you're getting. Um,
mhm.
and then your body ends up feeling actually depleted because it didn't get the nutrition it thought that it was getting initially. Then you end up craving more and more. And it's exactly what you said. It's this vicious cycle of, and that's oftentimes how obesity can come about. Even for people who feel like they're not really eating more in volume than other people. So let's talk about what the solution is that you decided to found. So how are you making it easy with 40 acres for people to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables?
So as I mentioned, we started with a pop-up market. I am a firm believer in, well, let me back up. One, I am not the first person to discover or know that there are neighborhoods that lack fresh, healthy food. It took me a while to figure out where they were in Chicago, and it was kind of accidental. But like once I saw it, it was like, okay, I want to do something about this. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm like some trailblazer. I'm absolutely not. There have been organizations like Windy City Harvest that planted an urban farm in the Austin neighborhood um, at right across the street from PCC Wellness, and they grow like collard greens and spinach and all types of like really great veggies available for the neighborhood. Um, there are other organizations doing like smaller community gardens, and there's a company called Fresh Moves that brings a bus full of fresh produce into the neighborhoods so seniors and other people can come buy their fresh fruits and vegetables there at affordable prices. But all of that for me is like a band-aid solution in a way. Well, I think that the urban farm is part of the neighborhood, the built neighborhood infrastructure. And that's really what we're focused on is we want a grocery store because McDonald's is there every day. A grocery store with really great, affordable, fresh produce, um, healthy prepared meals, etc., should be there every day too to serve people. So we started with pop-up markets, but the goal has always been to scale those pop-up markets into a permanent brick and mortar store.
Mhm.
We also had a delivery piece to our business where we're like, okay, if you can't come to us, we'll bring it to you. And that piece is what's really kind of, not kind of, that's the piece that exploded with COVID.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, because people didn't want to go out.
Yeah.
People did not want to go out. And then when they did go out, there was it trying to find broccoli was like trying to find Viva paper towels at Target. It wasn't going to happen. I
Yeah.
really miss Viva paper towels. I really miss paper towels in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, I digress. But so I feel like no matter what neighborhood you lived in or like your level of affluence, everybody felt a little bit more food insecure come mid-March of 2020. It's just like, oh wow, I can't find what I need.
And not only that, but I think that the ordering online to get your food, to get your necessities in general is something that's starting to grow. And with people's busy schedules, they're finding that it's just a nicer, more convenient thing to do. Your company does charge like a very nominal delivery fee. It is no more than something like Grubhub, or dish or whatever.
Cheaper than some Grubhub restaurants.
Yeah, I would say it probably is. And so you're paying one delivery fee for what will end up being several meals for you. But my favorite part about when I've been ordering with you guys is that there's an option at checkout for you to choose to send a box of produce to a family in need. So what I like about donating, I don't have a lot of money, but the money I do have, I like to try to make sure it's going to all the right places. And everybody wants to help, I think, and everybody wants to um, help solve these problems of especially racially linked disparities in this city. And
Yeah.
oftentimes when you're looking at different kinds of charities, not all charities are the same, and not all of them, some of them purport to be a charity, and then 10% of the proceeds actually go to the thing they say it's going to go to. And what I like about it as a consumer is I like that I'm placing an order and I know for sure that that money is going 100% to not only fresh fruits and vegetables, but it's going to be delivered to somebody who needs it. And that's what I want to see happen because I'm so passionate about nutrition. So tell me about how you, what kinds of families, how do you find people, and how do they reach out to get these services from you?
Yeah, so we ourselves aren't actually a nonprofit organization. We are a small business, but from pretty early on, I've said, like, our tag on Instagram is Black owned, community built. And so we have always partnered with organizations and people within the community. There's not a single thing that happens in Austin, for the most part, that you don't see some member of the 40 Acres team at. And so when we decided to do the Get One, Give One boxes, we simply just partnered with the people we already knew. We were already working with organizations like By the Hand Club. I just come in contact with River City Church in West Humboldt Park. And so we were getting these donations, and we don't have like the infrastructure or a process for serving families in need. That's not what we do. We're, like I said, we're a small grocery business.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just reached out to them and said, hey, if any of the families that you serve that are in your congregation, that are the families that like maybe your students' families and your after school programs, whatever it is, if they need food, our customers are being super generous right now and donating boxes of produce. So we ring them up, and there you go. You have a free box of produce that somebody else just bought you, and it's just like the one that they got. We're not using like, oh, we'll give you the discarded food.
What's cool about this is that I think that everybody that I care to know anyway, their long-term goal is to change policy within our cities and our country to where people who are underserved are no longer underserved. That's a hard long-term goal to get to. And sometimes, especially in times like this that are just really agitated and just deplorably sad, we get overwhelmed with like, how can I help and what can I do and how can I be part of the solution? And what I like about this is that this is not a change in politics. This is not a change in policies. We're not waiting to go to the polls to vote on making a difference in this way. We're using our capitalist society and spending our dollars consciously in a way that has a positive, direct, immediate effect on our community. So while I think we all want to work toward healing this nation and the broken system that it is, this is something we can do right now for the people that live with us, our brothers and sisters in Chicago.
And what I think people also sometimes like miss is that you're still buying groceries from us. So
Yeah.
like the small business, and it's like doubling down on your support for a small business, because
Right.
now, like, small businesses need revenue. That's how they grow. You're serving people. You're servicing people so much that like the team you have can't do it all by ourselves. Oh, look, we're hiring someone. And for us, we're very conscious about where we hire from. So we try to hire through employment training programs that are serving like harder to employ people. So people with felony backgrounds, or people that have been unemployed for a while or underemployed for a while. And we're not making up jobs. It's like, here's the needs of the business. I need you here. So there's like a space for you to grow. one of our first employees came from Westside Health Authority's reentry program for returning citizens. And he started in October. And by when we needed a warehouse supervisor, we're like, oh, okay, you're getting a promotion. So like it's real jobs, real work experience, that while our warehouse supervisor is never allowed to leave 40 acres ever because we need him that much, we depend on him for everything.
Uh-huh.
Other people can get really great experience and like take that elsewhere. And one of the interesting things about the grocery industry that I've learned, especially here in Chicago, it's super insular. Everybody knows everybody, especially amongst like the independent wholesalers, the independent grocers. Like you have like generational wealth built amongst like families, and it's like, I brought you in, you were a bagger in my dad's store, and now you're making like 6 figures as a buyer now that you're like 40 years old at a wholesaler because I've taken you through this entire industry.
Wow.
And the thing is that like this grocery industry in Chicago, it's very white or very Latino. There's not a large Black presence. There isn't. And I'm like, hey guys, our neighborhoods need grocery stores. Like we can build this business and like we can all eat. We can like have control over at least some part of the supply chain of this in our neighborhoods. And like if we do this well and if we do this right, this can be a really big like economic driver for the community, so that maybe like 10, 15, 20 years from now, like we're those gatekeepers that are like bringing in that young kid and bringing them up through the industry so that, you know, he gets to, you know, 35, 40, 45 years old and is making like a really good living for his kids and his family. And it like kind of spreads like that. I'd like to see us so much better represented in this industry because we're just not.
Yeah, and that's another thing that a lot of my white friends have been like, you know what, I need to make more of a conscious decision to like seek out Black-owned businesses and support them because I want to see more people, just as you said, that are diversifying the landscape of all facets of business. And so, just again to run down all of the positive things about 40 Acres Fresh Market. Again, I've never done anything like this, and I reached out to you because I was so excited about it. And you know, I would never recommend something I don't use myself, and it's something that we've been doing. We've been ordering since like I don't know, day 5 of the whole COVID lock-in situation. And
The name does come pretty, yeah. We've been like, I start to recognize names. I'm like, I know that house.
yeah. And just so you know, it's only me and my husband living here. We love our produce. So it's only us eating it.
Wait a second. You guys got, okay, your last one was a $30 veg box and a $15 fruit box.
Yes.
Okay, so just so people know, like, we're really excellent at getting good deals when we buy and we pass those savings on to our customers. So a $30 veg box is like teeming with vegetables.
And that's what I'm about to show people. So the next part of this video is going to be my unboxing presentation of all of the different vegetables and fruits that I got in this giant shipment of produce that I was so excited about. And I know that some of my friends, especially who don't usually eat healthfully, they're a little bit intimidated by produce because it's maybe something they've never made a habit of eating or preparing. So I kind of like to rattle off a couple of things that I might typically use each of these things for. So again, the positive things about 40 Acres Fresh Market, you are getting healthy food. You have the option to provide healthy food for people who need it. You are supporting a Black-owned business. You are supporting a small business in Chicago. You're helping revitalize and serve areas that are underserved. And you're helping support Liz's dream and my dream for her of eventually having a brick and mortar store where access to good quality food is within reach for the people who deserve it the most.
You get us.
All right, Liz. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And thank you so much for seeing a need in our community and just being the change you want to see in the world instead of being, you know, beaten down by the complete, just overwhelming need for that change, which is so understandable, especially right now. And So I hope you guys all stay tuned and watch my big reveal.
I am so excited. I can't wait to see it.
All right, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Anyway, I just wanted to show you what I was able to get today. There's different price points. I believe it's like $5, $15, $20, $30 price points. Those different price points. We got the biggest order of the veggies because I love veggies. So this was for $30. There's also like a little delivery fee, which is like not a big deal. And you're gonna have that at Grubhub anyway, am I right? So, first of all, I love the bags that they come in. It's different bags every time, but they're always like one of those little fancy like, you know, thermal bags that is gonna protect your fruits and vegetables. So you also get like a free tote in the mix. So the next time you go to your grocery store, you actually have a really dope bag to use. This one has a zipper, which I love. So anyway, $30. I got this, and that is not a small head of lettuce either. We got this. This is, I think this is kale. Is this kale? I don't always know my lettuce as well. I don't know. I just go to the store and I get green stuff. Bag of spinach, 2 leeks. I love leeks. They are delicious. They're like a really mild sweet onion. They're great in soups. Giant cucumber, ladies. One of my favorite things is to make like a little cucumber salad with like sliced cucumbers and sliced tomatoes and like some thinly sliced like red onion or something like that. Do a little like balsamic vinegar on there, salt, pepper, put it in the fridge, let it chill a little bit and serve it with like barbecue. It's so refreshing. It's so good. Zucchini, love zucchini. This is one of my favorite vegetables to grill, and me and Chase love grilling. Peppers, red pepper, green pepper. I feel like it's like Mary Poppins with like the bag. Shredded carrots. I don't know if you guys like that shredded carrot salad. Is that like a southern thing? You know, the salad that's like carrots and raisins, and I think it's like mayonnaise. Sounds disgusting, it's so good. Yellow squash, broccoli crown. If you guys have never roasted broccoli in the oven with like some like red pepper flakes and some garlic and a little bit of soy sauce, you are missing out, my friends. 4 jalapenos. This is exciting because we like to make grilled jalapeno poppers where you like seed them and you fill them with cream cheese or something and then you put them back up. You can even wrap them in bacon, grill those. Oh my God, so good. Every shipment you get is gonna be a different combination of veggies and fruits. It depends on what they were able to get access to. I don't work for 40 Acres. I'm just really excited about it, and I'm excited to be able to show you guys something that you can participate in to stay out of the grocery stores and also to support your community here in Chicago. A white onion. I said I was sensitive to white onions. I am. I still eat them. It's just one of those things where we all know I'm gonna toot, and that's just the human body. What are you gonna do, you know? Fresh radish, which I hadn't had a fresh radish in like a long time. It's just not something I think of buying at the grocery store. And it was like delightful. I cubed it into small little cubes and then I put it into a salad, just raw, and it was so delicious. 2 little new potatoes. You guys, I'm still going. A whole carton of mushrooms. I feel like I've already exceeded a $30 limit at a grocery store if I were buying these at the grocery store, I think. If not, it's very, very close. And I saved myself the time and the effort and honestly the risk of being at the grocery store right now. Fresh green beans, love. If you like green beans and you're used to eating them out of a can, let me tell you something. Fresh green beans are like night and day different. It's one of those things that like you have no idea how much better it could be until you get some of these suckers and you snap the heads off and you like blanch them in some hot water for like a couple minutes. And then maybe I like to drain them then and like toss them around in some olive oil in a pan with like some garlic and secret ingredient, little dash of nutmeg, salt and pepper, so good. I mean, as a comedian, it doesn't get any better than this. And I like this about the bag because when I don't know what I'm gonna get, like this giant carrot, I'm forced to find creative ways to use the vegetables. And I may have not gone and bought some of this stuff myself because I kind of have my standards that I usually buy. But I have to tell you, this is our 4th shipment of these that we've gotten. We've been getting them about every 2 weeks. We have eaten every square inch of all these vegetables and honestly been really excited to find ways to use them and creative ways to cook with them that are something that I hadn't thought of before. And I cook all the time. What did I use the giant carrot for last time? Oh, because we got like 2 of these in the last shipment and we were like, how on earth are we gonna eat all this carrot? And he found a recipe for grilled, like barbecued bourbon glazed carrots that he did like in an iron skillet on the grill. They were insanely delicious. Anyway, you'd be surprised. Honestly, like if you just Google or like go on Pinterest and look up like such and such recipes, like eggplant recipes, you know, carrot recipes, whatever, you'll find so many ideas that you didn't know that you were missing in your life. Fresh tomato, asparagus. If you're like me, this will make your pee smell terrible. I find it to be kind of fun. And a green tomato. Who goes to the store and is like, oh, we're out of green tomatoes? But here's the thing. again, looked up green tomato recipes. There's so many fun little like fresh, cold, chilled chutneys that you can make, like a little like chunky salad or side that you can make. But also, if you've never had a fried green tomato, you are missing out. It's just a slightly less ripened red tomato. But when they're green, they're really firm, so they withstand frying a lot better. They're also more tart. Just a really delicious summer food. So that is 30, are you seeing this? Wait, I'm gonna pan. Look at that. $30 got me that mound of fresh vegetables and that awesome bag. I missed one more thing. This is an acorn squash. This is also good on the grill. But wait, there's more. Guess what? I also got a bag of fruits this time. For $15, I got all of these grapes. Ugh! This pineapple, don't be afraid of a green pineapple. Here's a tip. When a pineapple is not ripe yet, you actually want to put it tailed down to ripen. Just put it in like a little corner of your kitchen and put it tailed down. The sugars or something end up like dispersing a little bit more evenly because it ripens from the button up. If you do it down, it actually kind of forces that ripening to happen. It uses gravity to let that ripen a little bit quicker. I am not a food scientist. These are things that I've just learned from like anecdote and from experience and from a little bit of research. I can't really cite my reference. Probably Alton Brown has something on it, but I remember seeing it somewhere and trying it, and it's really good. Let me tell you something about pineapple again with the grill. You get a fresh pineapple, like seed it and then slice it into like giant slabs of the pineapple. Then you marinate it in some Fireball whiskey and like cinnamon and vanilla and a couple of other things, and then you grill it. And it is the most decadent, delicious, sweet, syrupy, spicy, kind of boozy thing you'll ever eat. It's really good sliced up on some vanilla ice cream or on its own. It's good warm or chilled. It is an absolute delight. I know that a lot of times vegetarians, if they're invited to a barbecue, they're like, boo, like it's gonna be a bunch of meat eaters. You know, and people are like, find something to throw on a grill. And then you bring in your tofu and everyone's like, boo, you're a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, no judgment. But I know the struggle because a lot of my friends are. But how fun if you're invited to a barbecue to bring something like that. You're gonna be the life of the party. This is a Honeycrisp apple. These are expensive. These are like $2.50 a pound if you're lucky at the grocery store. So this is one of the most expensive apple kinds that you can get at the store. This is also a Honeycrisp. Very exciting. If you haven't had a Honeycrisp apple, they're called Honeycrisp because they are extremely crisp, extremely juicy, and extremely, extremely sweet. I honestly don't know if this is a small ruby red grapefruit or a large orange. I know I'm gonna eat it, and I know it's got a lot of vitamin C. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is my favorite fruit in the world. This is a nectarine. If you see something that looks like a peach and there's no fuzz on it, it is a nectarine. Another trick, if you don't know this, if you have fruits and veggies that need ripening, you can put them in a brown paper bag and let them sit with an apple slice. Something about like I think it's like the ethylene that's released from again, I don't know. There's something that makes it ripen faster. It's some kind of witchcraft, I'm not sure. Avocado, who doesn't love an avocado? I can make a little bit of guacamole with this. I make excellent guacamole. My secret is cilantro, fresh cilantro in it, which I still have some left over because my last shipment from 40 Acres had fresh cilantro in it. Lemon, another lemon, a lime, another orange. This is definitely an orange. This is a maple, right? That's a different thing entirely. Ugh. More bananas than I know what to do with. 2 more limes. I've been getting limes in the other shipments as well. I don't like buying things that have a lot of added sugar to them that I didn't necessarily want. A lot of times it ends up being like a little bit too sweet for me. I also don't like the taste of fake sugar, like sucralose, and I know sucralose is like derived from fruits, but I don't, or actually no, sucrose is like derived from fruits. I think sucralose is too. Either way, sucralose, I can taste it in a mile away. It tastes like straight plastic to me. I don't like fake sugar. I also don't like a lot of stuff that has high fructose corn syrup in it. I just find to be like too sweet. I love to make my own margarita mix. If you go to the store and you try to get margarita mix, unless you're specifically looking for a fresh kind, it's usually the first ingredient is going to be high fructose corn syrup. Lime juice is going to be like third or something. It's kind of a racket. So you're paying for mostly sugar water, which is BS. And then it's going to have fake lime flavor added into it, like the stuff that makes a lime Skittle taste like a lime Skittle. I am not interested in that. What I've been doing is I have been juicing fresh limes and zesting them a little bit to give it a little bit extra, like, you know, that lime, in the lime zest, you get a lot more of that oil, so it's a lot more like pungent of a taste. Then I make a simple syrup on the stovetop with like much less sugar than you would end up having in a pre-bought mix. And then like last week I made a margarita mix that was lime. It was key lime, which we had key limes in the fridge. Key lime and fresh basil, because we got fresh basil in our shipment as well. Key lime basil margaritas. It was so good. And really like more tart than sweet, which I prefer. Way healthier for me. No high fructose corn syrup. It was something fun to do and to make. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm stuck at home and I don't have a job because coronavirus. So what else are you doing? I'm no expert. I've never been on Price is Right. But I will say that I would guess that this would be probably $6, maybe a little more. This is not inexpensive. So anyway, again, $15 for all of those, well, it's mostly over here, all of those fruits. So for all of that produce, which seems like a lot, and honestly, once you start making a habit of eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, not only do you feel way better, but you go through them fairly quickly. For the two of us in this household, we will go through all of this in about 2 weeks, and maybe even quicker. But yeah, I'm excited. I was excited to share with you guys what I've been doing. I really hope that you join me in supporting this company because you're supporting locally. I think the best way to help rebuild Chicago is to invest directly in Chicago and support people who are starting organizations that help people in Chicago that are underserved and underrepresented. So do it for yourself and your own health. Do it for the people in your community. Do it to end the concept of food deserts, which is just a horrendous thing for everybody. Do it for the health and well-being of your fellow human being. 40acresfreshmarket.com. Yeah, that's all. Excuse me.